very good figures, but our problem is ministers of cabinet are also playing politics, because when you are prime minister or you are a minister of state, you represent the whole country, the whole population. Next year, we are going to celebrate 50 years of development history. One kind 50 years in the future that political leaders will create. This placard culture, we're going to create this culture of weaponizing the budget, fighting each other, and letting the people to suffer, because in the budget, which is the law, we're talking about the appropriation bill. Appropriation is the law of the land. So 2025 appropriation, when we pass the bill, it becomes the law. When you don't follow the law, you are breaking the law. In taking the cue from our shadow treasurer, on behalf of the people of Abau, for this year, 2024 appropriation, we have only received 7 million DSIP only. None of the 5 million for infrastructure or counterpart has been received by Abau. And so the Minister for Finance's public statements and the Prime Minister's statement that everybody has received equally everything for Abau, I'm informing the country and this Honorable House that we have not received the balance of the DSIP, as well as the 5 million lots that some of you have received, and the Minister for Commerce acknowledged that the other day in his debate. One question with regards to the Abau issue, through you, Deputy Speaker, to the Treasurer is, for this year 2024, when you signed the Abau budget, we rolled 3 million of the unspent money because we were given the check just before the books closed. And because that check was already deposited, our belief was that it was cash given. And so my experience over the years is that cash should not go back to the Waigani public accounts, because you had already released it. And so if you have given us 7 million under DSIP, in actual fact, you have only given us 4 million. Because that 3 million is our money that we rolled over. And so I want you to respond to what happens to those. We know that some funds will be also released late as revenues are coming in later in the year. This year, we know that the funds that you may issue warrant authority after this budget session, we may not use it because the books will be closed and we will roll over. And you owe about a total of 16 million. We will roll that over and we may not see it again. So I want you to comment on these rollover funds, because you have already raised the check. It's cash money and it should never go back to the Waigani public account. Yeah. In terms of the project Magi Highway upgrade to seal, I just want to inform the Minister for Works that that work has stopped, because the contractor, global contracting company, very efficient company, in the side of Abau, and then Kana on this side, Rigo and Hirikoyari side, but on Abau side, from a little bridge called Imila to Moreguna 10, of which is the contract that was awarded to Global. They have stopped working for now 8 months because they haven't been paid. So all the new equipment that they bought, they set up beautifully, and then after 4 kilometers upgrading the first 5 kilometers, they stopped. And because it's about 8 months now, all that upgraded part will be also washed away and we are back to zero. And is that because I'm sitting on this side and therefore you are not giving that contractor the funding? And that's a principle I want to argue today in the name of the preamble of the Constitution, which guarantees equitable distribution of the nation's wealth. So you cannot penalize us when we define opinions. And so we keep on saying, don't weaponize the budget. The continuous program that under Connect PNG, that is connecting the end of the Magi Highway, which is in Cloudy Bay, through to Margarita, that first contract stopped because they were not funded. And so DDA is funding that, and our forest company, we've negotiated, and they are continuing to work with us to build a road towards Margarita. And so, Minister for Works, I mean, you can present flowery statements, but the reality on the ground is far from the truth. Deputy Speaker, as Shadow Minister for Bougainville Affairs on this side, I want to thank the government for appropriating the region of Bougainville the due funds that they should be receiving, over 400 million. And thank you, Minister for Bougainville Affairs, Treasurer, and also our Prime Minister for the commitments that you have given. But I want to raise an issue which I see the Prime Ministers of the day keep on making the mistake. And that is because they are Prime Ministers and Chief Executive Officers of the country, wherever they go, wherever they visit, they make public commitments. They make public commitments which are not reflected in the budget and not even reflected in agreements between provincial governments and national governments. And in this instance, on the region of Bougainville, the Restoration Development Grant was guaranteed in the Constitution. But when Prime Ministers go, they go and announce, for example, 100 million outside of that Restoration Development Grant. And so we come back to the budget and we impact the budget. And so I strongly argue against Prime Ministers going around the country making commitments with big funds of money not even reflected in the budget for that year, not even approved by NEC, and you are behaving like it's your private business. Stop this nonsense. We know you've got a mandate on the floor of Parliament, but don't go and make public commitments. It's a wrong culture, it's a wrong way of doing things. And so I'm sure someone will add up all the public commitments that Prime Minister Marape has made since he became Prime Minister since 2019. I wonder how much total is that. I hear it's over $1 billion kina. And so it impacts on the budgets every time we debate. The second point I want to raise is, one is this in our view, weaponization of the budget. I strongly recommend, Treasurer, and I couldn't agree more with the former Prime Minister, Honorable Peter O'Neill, that you shouldn't be the one that should be signing the warrant authorities. You should sign in the beginning of the year, which is the usual practice, and then every month the Secretary for Treasury signs because they watch the cash flow. I know that there is a ministerial budget committee which oversees the cash flow and therefore instructs how much warrants should be given. But unfortunately, in my experience, even when the warrant authority is given and the finance department raises the cash fund certificate, from the warrant to the cash fund certificate, something goes wrong. Political influence comes. And so the warrant that authorizes a certain program to be funded, when the CFC is raised, another program is funded outside of the warrant authority. This type of poor governance structures are the ones that are killing this country. And so when ministers behave like that, well, how can you encourage the public service? Yesterday, Prime Minister got upset with the public service in the debate. You've been there for 6 years now. By now, the public service should be efficient. The public service should be delivering what you've been doing. You cannot keep on getting upset. And in fact, getting upset yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister admitted that he hasn't done anything for the public service efficiency over the last 6 years. And so we have a cultural problem. The other issue that I want to highlight is the issue that we have been observing during the vote of no confidence session. And one reason why people who are convinced that that government where they were in, they are leaving the government because they are not happy with the performance of the government. But when they come here, no funds are here. Our DSIP is not given on time. Our 5 million is not given on time. Our major projects under national programs are even blocked. And so that culture, Deputy Speaker, you alluded to it in your statement some minutes ago, that culture must stop. Because if we have to have a vibrant democracy, Prime Minister has been publicly saying we need a vibrant opposition too. And so to create that, those of us who are on the opposition, when the warrants are issued and the CFC is raised, be fair unto yourself in the eye of God and our spirits of nature. Why do you do that? Because you can go cross with us individual members of parliament who disagree with the government. But you know, because, for example, Deputy Speaker, the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister, the 60 million people of Abau are his people because he is the Prime Minister. Treasurer. You are the treasurer of the country. The 60 million people of Abau are your people too. 60,000 people of Abau are your people too. So you don't penalize us because we are here in the opposition. It's against the spirit of the Constitution, the Mama Law. And so what do? Do we keep on behaving like this? Imagine if you did not do that, the opposition will be bigger in the numbers and we would be holding the government accountable. That's what this House needs. House needs numbers on this side, numbers on that side, and we argue and we fight. Because in the budget, which is the law, we're talking about the appropriation bill. Appropriation is the law of the land. So 2025 appropriation, when we pass the bill, it becomes the law. When you don't follow the law, you are breaking the law. So don't come and talk about flowery numbers. Big numbers, 28 billion, 2 billion for Connect PNG, 300-something million for power. I just read it from the Minister for Planning statement. Very good figures, but our problem is ministers of cabinet are also playing politics, because when you are Prime Minister or you are a Minister of State, you represent the whole country, the whole population. Get it in our heads. This person here, and must stop. Next year, we are going to celebrate 50 years of development history. One kind 50 years in the future that political leaders will create. This kind of culture, huh? We're going to create this culture of weaponizing the budget, fighting each other, and letting the people to suffer. That's why I get scared when young politicians are using big money, big talk, big projects for your electorate. You're a minister, so you give preference to your province. Please, let's stop this, because we deserve better. The people deserve better. Let's not bring in this power-hungry, money-loving money to this floor of Parliament. Love of money is the root of all evil, the Bible says. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's I'm seeing that. My fifth term, Deputy Speaker. Me worrying of future and political culture that we are creating today. Me worrying of this political culture. If a young people, first timers, if you come here, that's a culture that you are learning. Stop it. Stop this culture. Stop this money-hungry, power-hungry culture. You are okay. But look at the doctor that sent a message to the governor for East Pacific. No got money here, but the budget book says big money here. Police minister was talking about big money here, but the actual expenditure, you didn't receive the money, appropriated money. Minister for communication, yeah, you complained about NBC not receiving the money here. Well, he said it in the speech. Prime Minister, if only the government, your government, this is the biggest budget I have ever debated and seen during my 5 terms. If this budget is fully implemented, Prime Minister, your government will be the best government this nation has ever seen. Under your leadership, Prime Minister, if you fully implement this budget, you will be the best Prime Minister that this country has ever seen. But when you play the same game, then we will hold you accountable. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I want to conclude by reminding the Prime Minister, through you, Acting Speaker, when we all moved to make him the Prime Minister in 2019, Prime Minister did an unprecedented thing of all Prime Ministers before, the 7 Prime Ministers before him, by publicly releasing what he felt was his DNA. And he named it publicly as the Marape Manifesto. I have a copy with me. I will stop in exactly 1 minute. This is a public statement. So if leaders make public statements to the people, well, you have to honor what you publicly pronounce. Prime Minister, I have assessed the 10 MMs, MM1, MM2, MM3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. And out of those 10 MMs, there are 13 commitments, Deputy Speaker, that Prime Minister made in this public pronouncement called Marape Manifesto. Out of the 13 public commitments, he only fulfilled 3 of them. And in any classroom, that's a failure. So don't make public commitments.
Member, your 20 minutes is left.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I will sit down by saying, Treasurer, Prime Minister and Ministers of State, you will do this country great pride if you deliver this law that we will pass called the Appropriation Bill 2025.